Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes, and welcome to another episode of Net Zero Lunacy, because the figures have been revealed that show that the taxpayer of this country, taxpayers, more than one, taxpayers plural of this country, have had to fork out over £1 billion, I should do that really, so £1 billion, to pay the owners of wind farms to not generate electricity. For you see, when the wind is too high and too fast, they can't let these wind turbines turn. Otherwise, the damn things will take off, damages them. And so they switch them off. But thanks to the genius who audited these things, who created these things and signed off on these things, when the wind farms are not generating electricity, and so therefore we're not paying these farms to generate electricity, they are demanding that we still pay the equivalency of what the farm would have produced had the wind been blowing at the right speed. And so we're still paying them all this money, even though we're getting nothing for it. But wait, because it gets even worse than that. Not only are we paying these wind farms to not generate electricity, because they're not generating electricity, we have to kickstart all the big diesel engines to generate the energy that we would otherwise generate if the wind was blowing at the right speed. So we're actually paying not once, but twice. Because, hey, wankers signed contracts that make no commercial sense at all. One presumes, of course, that the reason these contracts were put in place in such a way is because of vested interests. It would be interesting to see how many of today's politicians suddenly work for green energy companies when they leave politics, presumably on very big, very profitable salaries, paid for, of course, by you and me. What we need is a party to come in and say, right, hitherto all contracts null and void. We're not going to pay you any more. We're not subsidising you. You want to build them? Fine. We'll pay you for what you generate. But when you're not generating, kiss my ass. And that's it. And watch at that moment as they all run to the hills, because wind farms actually don't make any money. They never generate as much money as they cost to build. And what's worse, and people won't tell you the facts, they take more energy in building them than a windmill will ever generate in its entire life. Go figure. And they call this green. Well, of course they don't. It's all a scam. It's nothing to do with being green. It's all to do with making the poor poorer and the elite at the top richer. That's the whole thing. It's all that, let's extract all the money upstairs so that we can lord it over them. The Eloi and the Morlocks, and we find ourselves as being the Morlocks. The Eloi sitting there in the sun, eating fruit. We need to start eating the Eloi. Anyway, there we go. Just thought I'd pass that on. Miliband is still pushing out his wind turbines by the dozen daily, hopes. There's no infrastructure to store the energy. They don't even know how to go around with battery storage at this point. They want to do batteries, but on a small scale in a house, absolutely fine. But on a large industrial scale to pump stuff into the national grid, they haven't got the technology. It just doesn't exist. It's not that they can't afford it or can't build it. It just doesn't exist. They want a fast-track planning permission to dig up prime agricultural land to put these things on. But every single one of them is costing us more money than it generates. Everything is a scam. It's time we stopped. We need to burn these things down. Every single one, I think. They're so damaging to the environment. And yet, these people go, oh, but they're saving the planet. They're killing birds. They're destroying the ecosystem because they all have to be dug up and everything. Huge swathes of British countryside destroyed. And then if you've seen the amount of steel that goes into the base of these things, the energy involved in making all that steel, it's disgustingly high. It's just so ruinous. And yet they won't tell you that because they think we're stupid. But we're not. Let me know what you think. Speak to you soon. Bye.